Good evening, everyone. So we have covered executive yesterday. We have completed executive. There are three important organs of the government, state actually. Right? Most of the students ask me doubt what is the difference between state and government. Remember, if state is a bus, government is the bus driver. Remember this. State is the bus. Remember this way, if you have confusion between state and government, remember that state will be there all the time, government will be there only for 5 years. So there are features of state. For example, ours is a secular state, ours is a republican state, ours is a democratic state. Features of this will not change with the government. Government can only change policies. So you can remember that state is the bus and government is the driver. That way you can remember. There are three important organs of state. One is executive, the other one is legislative, the other one is judiciary. So we spoke about executive. Last person we were talking about is Article 76. Article 76, Attorney General. Attorney General is a very important person. Who is appointing him? President is appointing him. All the time you need to remember that President is appointing. President is appointing him, right? So he should be qualified to be judge of the Supreme Court. That is what Attorney General is all about. So Article 76, remember Article 76, he is AG. He is the lawyer of the government. You don't have to remember anything other than this as of now. So another important point you can learn about him is that he have right to audience in all courts of Indian territory. So he have right to audience. He can walk into any court and take up any particular case, right, representing the central government. The same person in state we call him as Auditor General of India. Sorry, Advocate General. In the center we are calling him as Attorney General. In the state we call him as Advocate General, right? And next important article is 78. Article 78 is very important. Duties of the Prime Minister as respect furnishing information about the President. So if you can see this article, this is where you understood he is the de facto leader. De jure, de facto. De jure is President and de facto is Prime Minister, right? So between the President and the Council of Ministers, Prime Minister is the primary channel of communication. So that is what we need to learn from Article 78. That is how we wind up executive. We have completed executive. In executive we spoke about President of India, Vice President of India, Prime Ministers, Council of Ministers and Attorney Generals, right? These are the important articles we need to remember. When I spoke about parliamentary form of government, you need to remember that article. When I spoke about what is the type of government, we have republican form of, right? If we say republic, how it became republic? Because the highest post, that is president, is elected, right? So those articles you should jot down and you need to present in the examination. Remember, this is how you write the examination. Without mentioning article, you are not going to present it in the mains examination. You are not going to be very vague. So remember, if you are presenting it as, for example, if you want to talk about parliamentary form of government, right? We spoke about parliamentary form of government. You can see 75, Article 75, Class 3 clearly says that the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to House of People. This is clearly saying that we have parliamentary form of government. Is it fine now? Is echo coming? Students, do you have any problem with the sound? No, it's clear. It's fine. Thank you. So we were talking about that. So whenever you are talking about parliamentary form of government, try to mention 75 Article 3. 75 Article 75(3) of 5th part of Indian Constitution talks about parliamentary form of government. Here we can clearly say that we have parliamentary form of government. The other form of government is presidential form of government. What is the difference between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government? In presidential form of government, all three organs are completely separated. There is strict separation of powers. Remember that point. There is strict separation of powers. There is strict separation of powers. Whereas when you talk about parliamentary form of government, we have this type of government, right? Legislative and executive cooperate with each other. If you can see this point, the Council of Ministers, who is executive, shall be collectively responsible to House of People, that is legislature. This is the right wording. When they are responsible, there is cooperation and coordination between them. So there is no strict separation of powers between legislative and executive. You can see that the member of Parliament is becoming the Prime Minister. The member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha is becoming the ministers, right? Those who are from legislature are becoming executive. Unlike in United States of America, these are completely two different set of people, right? There is a strict separation of powers in between legislature and executive in United States of America, whereas in India, we don't have that. What we have in India is parliamentary form of government. Where do we find it? Article 75(3). Which part of the Indian Constitution? Fifth part of Indian Constitution. That is how we need to speak. When we speak this, you don't have to speak much. When you're talking about articles, you don't have to speak much, right? Even though we are paraphrasing it, it doesn't matter much. Because you know the Constitution, you know how it matters. Another 75th article I spoke, right? So this is parliamentary form of government. So next important we need to talk about is parliament, that is legislature, right? One organ is done executive. In executive, parliamentary form of government is where I stressed, and president. The election of the president is mostly federal system. When he is being removed, when he is being impeached, it is completely unitary in future. Only the parliament will participate in removal. That is what we need to remember. That is how we need to remember. President is not just the representative of the center, but is also representative of the states. Keep that in mind, right? So parliament, what is parliament? In India, we are calling our legislature as parliament. We are calling our central legislature as parliament. We are calling our state legislature as assembly, right? In India, we are calling it as parliament. What is parliament? Constitution of parliament. There shall be a parliament for union which consists of president and two houses to be known respectively as Council of States and House of People. Very important article. Article 79 says that parliament is equal to president plus Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha. Which is saying that Article 79 is saying that Parliament is equal to President plus Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is different, Lok Sabha is different, President with the Secretariat, it is completely different. All three together we are calling it as Parliament. Remember that Parliament is not just the legislature. You can see here this person, President is also there in executive, President is also there in the legislature. He is there in both the games, right? He is there in both the teams. Can you see that? So this is very important. That is the reason why when I speak about President, I keep him like this. One is legislature, one is executive, the other one is President. President is there here, President is also there here. President is also the executive, President is also part of the legislature, right? You can see here. But President is not member of Lok Sabha, President is not member of Rajya Sabha. Similarly, Vice President is also not member of Lok Sabha, Vice President is not member of Rajya Sabha. Remember that they are not members, but they are part of Parliament. They are part of Parliament, but they are not members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Keep that in mind. President, even though if you have Lok Sabha, even though you have Rajya Sabha, without President, a bill cannot become law. Remember here, what is legislature here? Legislature is here to make laws, right? The pretext form of laws are bills. In Parliament, we introduce in the form of bills. Once they are passed, they are called laws or acts or any other name, right? So we introduce in the name of bills. To go through this process, the bill has to go through Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, and then it has to go to President, right? If it is passed in 3 stages, then only it will become law. These are the main 3 institutions which it has to go through. Rajya Sabha is different, Lok Sabha is different, and President is different. I hope you understood this, right? So Article 79 is completely important. Next one. Yes, it is a quick revision. Most of the students is asking what we are doing. What we are doing is revision of Constitution article. You can see the previous video in the same YouTube link which you are seeing, right? We had yesterday one class, today we are taking another class where we are trying to cover important articles of the Constitution, very important of the Constitutional, very fast, right? So next important thing is composition of Council of States. Can you see this? Council of States. The Council of States, the name itself is saying that it is federalism. What we have in India is federalism. We are giving power to federal unit to come and participate in the law making process in the center. Federal unit is, for example, state from state we have Rajya Sabha members, they will go participate and make laws. Can you see that? Council of States, right? State specific members will come into this particular council, right? So you can see from this there are there are three things we need to understand here. One, the word election, then the word appointment, then the word nomination. These are the three important words. Election we already know, direct election, indirect election. These are the two other types we can understand. I'll give you one key to remember here: executive, legislature, judiciary. Except president. President is elected, no? President is indirectly elected. Except president, all the executives, right? All the executives are appointed. Remember this. All the executive is appointed except the president. Whereas if you take legislature, these are elected and nominated. And judiciary members are appointed. So this is the terminology, that is how they come into the post, right? So if you take executive, except the president, only the president, the highest post of the executive, is elected. All else are appointed by the president themselves, right? Prime Minister is appointed by the president. Council of Ministers appointed by the president. Attorney General appointed by the president. Similarly, in legislature we can see there are few people who are elected directly by the people and directly, indirectly, nomination by the President of India. And in judiciary what we have is appointments, right? What we have is appointments. How many people we have? You can see here the allocation of seats of Council of States should be, we have fourth schedule for this. If you want to know how many seats are there for, how many Rajya Sabha seats are there for your state, you can open fourth schedule and see that. You can open fourth schedule and see the allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha, the allocation of seats in House of States, right? So there are 12 people who are not more than 238 representatives of the states and of union territories. How many representatives should be there? 238 plus, you can see the allocation of seats in Council of States to be filled by representatives of the state shall be according to the provision we have in the fourth schedule. I spoke about this fourth schedule. Fourth schedule, if you open fourth schedule, you will find how many members were allocated for a particular state based on the population, right? The members to be nominated by the president under the class consist of such person having special knowledge or practical experience in such matters. Which are the matters? There are 12 members who are being nominated by the president here. You can see literature, science, art, social service. You need to remember this terminology. There is no escape from this terminology. Those people who have expertise in literature, who have expertise in science, who have expertise in art, who have expertise in social service, right? They will get sometimes membership in Rajya Sabha. They will be given, they will be nominated by the President of India to the Rajya Sabha, so that they also participate, they also invest their knowledge in making laws, right? They will add their expertise in law making process. That is why we are creating here. So we have 12 nominated posts and 238 from the states. That is how the composition of Rajya Sabha is there, right? And how they are elected? How these people are elected? This is based on PRSTV. PRSTV, the mode of election to Rajya Sabha is indirect election. PRSTV, proportional representation by means of single transferable vote by state legislature. State legislative assembly members will elect them. So, for example, if you have your state assembly members will elect Rajya Sabha members. So, which means that Rajya Sabha election is indirect. So, there are two methods how we get into Rajya Sabha. One is indirect election, the other one is nomination. Right? There are three types of people in Rajya Sabha. One, nominated person. The second one, indirectly elected person. The third one, Vice President of India. He is elected as Vice President but acting as ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Remember that he is not member of Rajya Sabha but he is chairman of Rajya Sabha. Right? So that is how we see this article. Similarly, composition of House of People. Not more than 530 members chosen from direct election from territorial constituencies, 530 plus 20 from union territories, and 2 nominated. We have given away 2 nominated people. But what we have in Rajya Sabha now is 245 only. The sanction strength is 250, but we have 245 only. Here we have 552, but what we have is 545 only. right? What we have now, the strength is 545 only, but the sanctioned strength is different, right? The constitution is giving the different strength. For Lok Sabha, it is giving you 552 strength, 550 members from states and union territories, whereas 2 members which are Anglo-Indians nominated, but we have given up that provision, So we have 545 members, including those 2 nominated members. If they don't have them, we have 543 people. That is how the structure of Lok Sabha is there. So how do we get these persons into Lok Sabha? This is based on direct election. There is a body called Election Commission. Election Commission will divide the whole country into constituencies. It will divide the whole country into constituencies. So from every constituency, that particular member will be directly elected by universal adult franchise. Article 326. Article 326, universal adult franchise. You know this is very good weapon. Do you know this is very big weapon? When we speak about social justice, when we speak about society, do you know this is a very big weapon? It looks like universal adult franchise. It looks like Article 326. How to remember this? 3 into 2 is equal to 6. Article 326. You are talking about universal adult franchise, universal suffrage, right? What we are talking about, those people who are above 18 years age will have right to vote. They can participate in the election. That is what universal adult franchise is. So do we have discrimination of women? Do we have caste discrimination? Do we have religious discrimination? Do we have regional discrimination? Nothing. Universal adult franchise is such instrument which will break all those barriers, and which it is considered as a Vajrayuda to eliminate all the discriminations. Everyone is given vote. Which class you belong to doesn't matter, which caste you belong to, which gender you belong to, all these are not matter at all when you are going for right to vote, right? So this is Vajrayuda, we call it as Vajrayuda, right? This is the strongest weapon we have in our constitution, Article 326. This is the power we have. We are transferring the power we have to Parliament. Everywhere in the previous chapters we found that Parliament is the ultimate sovereign institution. You understood now, right? Article 326 is the powerful weapon. We need to utilize it sparingly. So next important article, duration of the houses of the Parliament. 83 we are talking about duration of the House of the Parliament. The Council of States, this is permanent house. This is permanent house. Remember, this is Lok Sabha can be dissolved. It will be dissolved every 5 years, right? We need to understand every 5 years, unless there is emergency, Lok Sabha will be dissolved, but Raj Sabha is permanent house, right? Not subject to dissolution, but as nearly as possible, 1/3 of the members shall retire as soon as maybe their expiration of every second year. 1/3 of the members will retire every second year. Next 1/3, next 1/3. So if you can see, the term of Rajya Sabha member is 6 years. Here is the trick. What is the term of Rajya Sabha member? 6 years. Every 2 years, 1/3 of the members of Rajya Sabha will get retired. But what is the tenure of Rajya Sabha? The tenure of Rajya Sabha is infinitum. It is permanent house. It is never dissolved. Remember, the tenure of Rajya Sabha member is 6 years, but the tenure of Rajya Sabha is infinitum. It is permanent house. It is continuous house. Whereas Lok Sabha, the tenure is 5 years, and Lok Sabha tenure or Lok Sabha MP tenure is 5 years. That is what we need to remember from Article 83. Right? Except the proclamation of emergency. If there is proclamation of emergency, there will be little change which we need to remember. Right? So that is the tenure of houses. So whenever you are giving power to legislatures, you are giving power for a Rajya Sabha member, you are giving him power till 6 years, whereas if he is a Lok Sabha member, you are giving power to 5 years, right? So it is the majority in this particular Lok Sabha through which the governments are being formed, right? Those people who wield majority in Lok Sabha, those people will form the government and run the government. I hope you understood these things, right? And next important article, qualifications. Qualification for membership of Parliament. Qualification for membership of Parliament. 1, he should be citizen of India. 1, he should be citizen of India. Now I will be telling you age pyramid of the constitution. Please remember the ages which I am talking about here. If you are 18 years and greater than, you can participate and become voter. If you are 21 years and above, you can participate in local elections. Either it is rural elections or urban elections. Rural local bodies and urban local bodies, you can participate. If you are 25 years old and above, greater than 25 years, then you can participate in state legislative assembly and Lok Sabha. If you are greater than 30 years, you can participate, you can become member of Rajya Sabha and legislative council if you have in state. Legislative council is optional, not all the states have legislative council, right? Similarly, if you are greater than 35, then you will become president or governor. Similarly, if you are 62 years old, you will retire as a high court judge. If you are 65 years old, you will be retiring as a Supreme Court judge. These are the different ages you need to remember. I will repeat once again. If your age is more than 18 years, you can become citizen, you can participate in voting. If you are greater than 21 years old, then you can participate in local elections. If you are greater than 25 years old, then you can become MLA or Lok Sabha MP. If you are greater than 30 years old, you can become Rajya Sabha member or legislative council member. If you are greater than 35 years, then you can become president or governor. This is the basic qualification, minimum age qualification to become. This is the age pyramid which you need to remember. These are there in different parts of the constitution, in different articles it is mentioned. I have gathered you and giving you, you can use this, right? So this is the age qualification. One should be citizen of India. The other important part here is that, see this point, law made by the parliament. So I am telling you few qualifications. Apart from these, all other qualifications will be told by the parliament. Parliament is the sovereign institution which can make a law and qualification of members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha itself. Understood? It is little against natural justice. It is little concentration of power, right, in power mapping. But remember this very important article. Article 84 is talking about qualifications. Then important word 85, sessions of parliament, prorogation and dissolution. What is prorogation? What is dissolution, right? So we need to remember we have 5 years. Let us consider 5 years, 2, 3, likewise 5 years, okay. Every year we have 3 sessions. One is monsoon session, one is winter session, one is budget session. Every year parliament will meet 3 sessions only. Remember that. Consider 50 days. 150 days only it will meet. 150 days only it will meet. We have 5 years of time, right? I am taking example. We have 3 sessions. First one is budget session, then we have monsoon session, then we have winter session. Again next year budget session, monsoon session, winter session. This is how sessions will happen, which means that house will not be assembled all the time throughout the year. These people, our MPs, will be there in their own constituencies, right? They will not be here. So this is session. In this session we have sittings. Every session, for example, I am taking budget session. Budget session you will have sittings. It will start with February 1st, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Likewise, these are called sittings. These are called sittings. When you try to end the sitting, it is called adjournment. Adjournments will be done by the Lok Sabha speaker or the chair of that particular house. In sitting, if for example today is February 1st, if I have to end the session, that is called adjournment. Adjournment, I will say we will meet on Feb 2nd 10 a.m. This is how it is mentioned. Adjournment till February 2nd 10 a.m. He is saying that on February 1st. So similarly, adjournment sine die. If he is mentioned adjournment sine die, he is saying that I don't know when we are going to meet. I will try to communicate with you once I have clarity about the next session, right? Next sitting. Understood? So sittings will be in the control of the chair. Always remember, sittings will be in the control of chair. Either it is Rajya Sabha chairman or Lok Sabha speaker. But the session, this session, starting of session is called summoning. Ending of session is called prorogue. Ending of the house is called dissolution. After 5 years, the ending of the house will happen, that is called dissolution. Lok Sabha will be dissolved, but Rajya Sabha will not be dissolved. One is prorogue, the other one is summoning. when we want to start a particular session, that is called summoning and prorogue and dissolution. This can only be done by the president. Remember here. See, who is president? President as part of the executive trying to control the legislature, balance of power, checks and balances, right? So you need to understand, when the sessions are summoned by the president, it means these are summoned by the prime minister and council of ministers, because we are talking about de facto government, right? This is de facto, that is de jure. President is like a puppet. He is like a leather puppet. Normally he is not leather puppet. For our understanding, we are trying to create that, right? Whatever prime minister and council of ministers will say, that will be done by the president. The summoning of the session, proroguing of the session, or dissolving the session. Dissolution can only happen to Lok Sabha, but will not happen to Rajya Sabha. This will be done only by the president. Remember, adjournments of the sittings can be done by the speaker, but the summoning, prorogation, dissolution can only be done by the president. Okay. So sessions, prorogation of the houses, dissolution of the House of People, especially this will be done by the president. That is mentioned in Article 75. This is very important article. Then remember this Article 87. This report is also very important for you. Every year I say at 5 years, every year we have first sitting will be addressed by the president. Every year the first sitting will be addressed by the president, that is called special address. Normally what happened in the previous year, what is the policy of the government, what it did, he will be explaining that to the houses, right? President speech is very important. You need to download president speech, PRS India or PIB. We have a website called PRS India where you can download president speech and read that. If you read that, then you will understand the mindset of the government, what government is trying to do, what government policy is all about, right? He will deliver what government wants to do in the house. That is done under Article 787, special address by the president. It will be done by the normally the first session of every year. The first session of every year will be addressed by the president, and in this address Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha both will be there, and he will be delivering a speech about the policies of the government and what they did in the previous year. That is very important. Now, rights of the ministers, Article 88. Remember, whether he is Lok Sabha minister, whether he is a minister from Rajya Sabha, a person can become minister even though he is not member of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. There is one more miracle point we have in Article 75. Article 75 we are talking about, just I spoke about 75 Article 3, we spoke about parliamentary form of government. In this article only, there is also mention about a person can become a minister even though he is not member of legislature, but he has to become member of legislature within 6 months of becoming a minister. If he is not becoming member, then he will lose that particular ministry. Remember, example, even though I am not member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, I can directly become any minister, right? After becoming minister, within 6 months, I have to get membership in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. That is what it is being said, right? So, unlike legislatures, if you talk about legislature, we are talking about parliament. Either it is House of People or House of States. Apart from this, we have executive separately. Those are called ministry. Even though you are member from Rajya Sabha, you can walk into Lok Sabha. Even though you are member of Lok Sabha, you will have right to speak in Rajya Sabha. Even though you are not member of any both houses, you can walk into both houses, but you can only vote in the house where you are member, right? For example, now Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. He is from Varanasi, right? He is elected from Varanasi. He is member of Lok Sabha, right? MP Lok Sabha. He can participate in any discussion. He can vote also in Lok Sabha, but he can participate in any discussion in Rajya Sabha. He will be called for in Rajya Sabha, but he cannot vote in Rajya Sabha. Similarly, Attorney General also can go to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is the rights we are talking about. Attorney General and ministries will have rights in both the houses to speak, right for audience, but they will not have right to vote. They will have right to vote only in the houses where they are members. If I am not the member, in any Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, then I cannot vote anywhere, but I can participate in both the discussion. Just now I said that I can become minister even though I am not member of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. If I am minister without becoming Lok Sabha member, Rajya Sabha member, then I can participate in discussion, speak in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, but I cannot vote in them. That is what we need to remember here. That is Article 88, very important article. Next one, Article 89. Next important article is 89. Ravindra Sharma, I am taking this class in English. Now we are doing this class in English as I have already completed one class. I have noted your point. We will try to do that in Hindi in next class. Okay? अभी तो ऐसा ही करने दो और बाद में और एक क्लास में प्लान करके मैं YouTube लाइव करूंगा. ठीक है? Thank you, Ravindra Sharma. Very important article 89. It is saying that the chairman and deputy chairman of the Council of States. So we have Council of States. We call it as Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is having one chair, that is called Rajya Sabha chair. Chairman is, who is the chairman? Vice President is the chairman. Similarly, we have deputy chair, right? Apart from that, we have panel of deputy chairmen. Panel of deputy chairmen. This is what we will have. If there is chair, he will work. If he is not there, he is absent, deputy chair will conduct the house. If deputy chair is also not there, then panel of deputy chair. There will be panel which will be elected by the Rajya Sabha members. They will try to manage by themselves, right? If both are there, if chairman is not there, then the election for the chairman should be conducted. If chairman is dead, permanently vacated, right? So who is there? The chairman. Who is the chairman? Vice president is the chairman, and we will be electing deputy chairman. So you can see that vice president is the ex officio chairman of the Council of State. That is what we have in this particular, right? Article 90, vacation, resignation and removal from the office of deputy chairman. So article 90 is you don't have to remember much, but just remember vacation, resignation and removal from the office of deputy chairman. So normally the vice president, who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha, will give resignation to the president of India. Remember that, right? So although he is the Rajya Sabha chairman, ex officio chairman, he is vice president, right? When he has to resign, he will give the resignation to the president office. Unlike the deputy chair will give resignation to the chair, right? So that is what it is mentioned here, and may be removed from the office by resolution passed by the members. So the same way in removal of president, it is little difficult, but when you come to here, the removal of deputy chairman, it is little easy when compared to impeachment of the president. So I am not getting into the procedures here just because I am focusing on the articles, right? Article 90 talking about resignation, removal and permanent vacation of the seat particular vice president, deputy chairman. So that article is important. So that is normal. Normally, if the speaker is not there, deputy speaker will work. If the deputy speaker is not there, then panel of speakers will work. This one I will try to clarify you how the system will work. I will try to give you a glimpse of that now. Okay. So who we have? Rajya Sabha chairman or vice president. We have deputy chairman and we have panel of deputy chairmen, panel of deputy chairs. Similarly, who we have here? Speaker, deputy speaker and panel of speakers. Panel of speakers is there here, panel of deputy chairmen is there here. Remember, he is the chair, speaker is there. Speaker and deputy speaker are elected by house, but Rajya Sabha chairman is elected as vice president and deputy chairman is elected by the house only, right? Remember this logic. If Rajya Sabha chairman is not there, deputy chairman will work as the chair of the house. So whatever the responsibility is taken up by the chair, it will be given to the deputy chair. All the powers and responsibilities of the chair will be given to the deputy chair. If deputy chair is also not there, then there will be panel of chairmen. We will elect 8 to 10 people. From them, one of the person will come and take the chair. But remember, if these posts are permanently vacated, if these are casual vacancies, it is fine. If these are permanently vacated, these people cannot chair it. We need to go for re-election, right? We need to go for re-election. Remember that point. So who will become the chair? Then the president will decide. President is having power to decide when when both of the chairman and deputy chairman is not available. Similarly, if you take speaker is not there, deputy speaker will work. Deputy speaker is not there, panel of speakers will work. If both are permanently vacated, permanent vacation means by mode of resignation, by mode of death, right? By mode of removal. In these cases, if these posts are permanently vacated, then panel of speakers cannot take the house, cannot chair the house. Who will chair the house? Then president will chair the house. Right? President will make sure who will chair the house, right? I'll try to remind you, I'll try to repeat this again, please try to catch it. When these people are there, casual vacancy, consider they went to honeymoon, they went to vacation, right? Then panel of speakers will be there. Who are panel of speakers? Elected by the members, Lok Sabha MPs, right? So when the casual vacancy is there, members elected panel of chairmen will conduct the house. If these are permanently vacated, then who will chair the house will be decided by the president. Similarly in Rajya Sabha also, normally these people will conduct the house. If these people are not there, then panel of deputy chairmen elected by the house. If these people are permanently vacated, then who will chair that particular house will be decided by the president. This logic will be, you need to remember this logic for sure, right? Rohan Lepacha, sir, if both the houses reject the president bill, then the bill will be passed. I didn't understand the question actually. What is president bill? Another important point, the last important point about chairs. When Rajya Sabha chairman, this particular person is being removed, then he cannot chair the house. When removal resolution is presented again as the chairman, he cannot chair the house. When removal resolution is presented again as the deputy chairman, he cannot sit in the chair. When deputy speaker removal resolution is presented, he cannot sit in the chair. Similarly, speaker, he cannot sit in the chair. So remember, those people who have in chair, there are two types of vote. One is first instance voting and second instance voting. There are two types of voting. One is first instance voting. The second one is second instance voting, right? Normally, those people who sit in the chair will not have first instance voting. Normally, they will not vote. They will only vote when there is a tie. In house, if there is tie on any particular bill, then only they will vote. That is called second instance voting. When they are sitting in chair, they will have only second instance voting. Remember that. Okay. This point is enough as of now. So, Secretariat for Parliament, this is very important. Those people who give secretarial services to those members who are in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, we have Lok Sabha Secretary General. Lok Sabha Secretary General is the highest administrative post if you want to get into. Rajya Sabha, the highest administrative post is Secretary General Rajya Sabha. Normally, when the president election is being happened, right, when the president election is happening, one time the Rajya Sabha Secretary General, one time the Lok Sabha Secretary General will conduct the elections, right? They will become the returning officers of election of president and vice president. I'll try to repeat once again. When you are trying to conduct a president and vice president election, in those elections the returning officer would be normally, one time it will be Lok Sabha Secretary General, the other time it would be Rajya Sabha Secretary General. This will happen in rotation. Okay, this will happen in rotation, one after the other. So as I said, oath and affirmations, except the oath which is mentioned in Article 60 and 69. In 60 we have President oath, in 69 Vice President oath. Apart from this, all other oaths are there in the third schedule. Article 60 is very important. He is saying that President is the protector of the Constitution. That is important article. Then Article 100, voting in houses, power of the houses to act withstanding to vacancies and quorum. What is quorum? The word quorum is coming into picture in Article 100. Article 100 is talking about quorum. What is quorum? Quorum is the minimum number of people required to conduct the session. For example, we have 545 members. We have 245 members. How many members are there or should be there so that I can conduct the session? 10%. 1/10 of the people should be there minimum. If I have 55 people, I can conduct the session. If I have 25 people, I can conduct the session in Rajya Sabha. If this number is not there, then the house will be adjourned by the chair. That is the minimum number of people required to conduct the session. 1/10 is the minimum number of people required to conduct the session. Okay. One or two. When we speak about president, we spoke about the qualifications of the president, right? What are the qualifications of the president? Normally, he should be citizen of India. He should have age more than 35 years. He should be eligible to be a member of Lok Sabha. Similarly, if you talk about vice president, the qualification of the vice president should be age more than 35 years. He should be Indian citizen. He should have the qualifications to become a member of Rajya Sabha. Right. Similarly, if you see the disqualifications here, 1 or 2 article is talking about disqualification of members. Right, disqualification of member. There are different disqualifications. One is office of profit. If he is having any office of profit under the government of India, if he is getting any other income from government of India other than the post which he is holding, right, then he will be disqualified. If he is unsound mind, if he is mentally handicapped, then he is disqualified. If he is undischarged insolvent, those people who don't file, who don't discharge their solvency, who don't pay back their debts, right, undischarged insolvent, then also this is a disqualification. If he is not citizen of India, voluntarily acquired the citizenship of any other country, article 9 we saw, right, then also he is disqualified. If he is disqualified by any law under parliament again, parliament is the institution which is deciding on the disqualification of the members. Also parliament can come up with the law, right, that is where it came up with the law, Representation of People Act 1951. Right, what are the qualifications, disqualifications of this particular representatives is mentioned in Representation of People Act 1951. This is very important. If you open up and you see in UPSC syllabus, we have clearly mentioned this particular law. That law is there in that particular one. Next important 107. From 107 we are talking about legislative procedure, provisions for introduction and passing of bills, right. There are different types of bills. One is ordinary bill, then we have money bill, then we have financial bill type 1, then we have financial bill type 2, then we have constitutional amendment bill. So these are the different bills and procedures one must understand to understand polity in depth. There are different types of bills. As I said, a bill will become act. When will bill become act? Bill, when it is passed by Lok Sabha, passed by Rajya Sabha and signed by the president, then it will become act. So these are the different types of bills we have. Although money bill is also called a financial bill, right? All money bills are financial bills, but all financial bills are not money bills. This is what mentioned in Lakshmikant. It is little easy to understand when you understand about finance sector and money market in economy, right? Ordinary bills, money bills, financial bill type 1, financial bill type 2, constitutional amendment bill. So there are procedures, legislative procedures which are mentioned clear, right, which are mentioned here clearly so that we can pass bills. That is mentioned in article 107. Article 107, legislative procedure. Then article 108, emergency article. Remember, when Lok Sabha is passing a bill, when there is a dispute between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, right, when Lok Sabha is saying yes, Rajya Sabha is saying no. When Rajya Sabha is saying yes and Lok Sabha is saying no, in case of dispute, then it will go to joint sitting, right. Then president may guide for joint sitting. You need to remember, joint sitting will happen for ordinary bills, it will not happen for constitutional amendment bills, it will not happen for money bills, right. It can happen for ordinary bills and financial bills, right. Joint sitting of both houses, article 108. The importance of the sitting is that joint sitting will be chaired by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Speaker of Lok Sabha will be chairing this joint sitting. If there is any bill passed by Lok Sabha which is rejected by Rajya Sabha, it is passed by Rajya Sabha, rejected by Lok Sabha, then there is deadlock. To resolve this deadlock, we will get joint sitting. To resolve this deadlock, we will get joint sitting. The way we pass both ordinary bill, money bill, financial bill, constitution bill, all of them is having different legislative procedures, right? Article 110 speaking about money bill. Article 110 is very important because it is talking about money bill. Important articles, please note down. Article 110 talking about money bill. Then Article 111, remember this is article. Article 111 is talking about assent to bills. President assent to bills. This is where normally veto power will come into picture. Assent of bills. Article 111. Remember Article 111. Remember this way: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President. When Lok Sabha is passing bill, it will go to Rajya Sabha. When Rajya Sabha is passing the bill, it will be signed by the President. Then it will become act. This is how you can remember. A bill will become act this way. Article 111. Right? The assent of bills. If both the houses are passing the particular bill, if the assent is given by the President, then he is then only you can consider that this particular bill became act. How the bill become acts? This is the way. These are the phases it has to go through. Then what are the options President have? I'll tell you one better way to remember these options of the President. Right? Remember this: ordinary bill, money bill, constitutional amendment bill. What are the options President have? Remember this. You don't have to remember anything. You can just remember this and complete this one. What can be done? One, yes. Ordinary bill, what are the different options President have? President have option to assent, sign the bill, reject the bill and return the bill back to the houses. Once it is returned, if the house is sending back in the same form, he don't have any other option other than giving assent. Right? Again remember, what are the different options President have when a bill is sent back? He is having option to assent, give assent. He can say the bill will become act. He can reject the bill, he can return the bill. After returning the bill, if the houses are sending back it in the same form, he don't have any other option other than giving assent. Right? This is where veto powers will come, right? So in money bill, when you talk about money bill, this is assent and reject. He cannot return the bill. There is no option called return. There is no concept of returning the bill, money bill. You don't have that option. If you talk about constitutional amendment bill, he cannot either reject the bill or return the bill. He don't have these two options. So this is how you can easily remember, right? This is how you can easily remember, right? Assent, reject, return, assent, reject, assent. These are the options he is having. Then we have an important article, annual financial statement. Article 112 is talking about annual financial statement. Annual financial statement is one of the document in budget. One of the document in budget. So every year Annual financial statement is the estimation of expenditure and receipts for upcoming 1 year, for upcoming 1 financial year. That is annual financial statement. In this annual financial statement, we will have, as I spoke, in budget we have the account statements of 2661, 2662, 267. Article 2661 talking about Consolidated Fund of India. This is talking about Public Account of India. This is talking about Contingency Fund of India. These are the 3 funds we have in Part 12 of Indian Constitution. In this Constitution, there are 3 statements. These 3 account statements will be made available for us for consideration of the Parliament in Article 112. Every year budget has to be, we call it as budget. Budget is having A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L documents, but only one document is annual financial statement. Annual financial statement is mandated by the Constitution. Similarly, we also know that FRBM is mandating some laws. FRBM Act 2003 is also mandating some acts, some documents like medium term fiscal strategy statement, similarly macroeconomic framework. These are the documents which is mandating. So that is 112 annual financial statement. Then Article 113, procedure in Parliament with respect of estimates, right? Estimates as related to the expenditure charged upon consolidated, right? Estimates, I said expenditure, there are 2 types of expenditure. One, from Consolidated Fund of India, there are 2 types of expenditures. One is charged, the other one is voted. When it is charged, there will be discussion, but there will be no voting. In Parliament, there will be no voting, but when it is voted, this expenditure can be discussed and voted also. That is where cut motions will come. Policy cut, token cut motions will come. This is where Article 113 is also important. Demand for grant. No demand for grant shall be introduced except by the recommendation of the Presidency. Demand for grants are there in Article 113. Right? We have 102 demand for grants. If you see the budget, we have 102 demand for grant. Demand for grant is the demand by different departments or divisions of a particular ministry, right? So all the demand for grants are clubbed together and will be made as appropriation bill. Once the appropriation bill is passed, it will be presented to the Consolidated Fund of India. Article 113 is talking about, right? Article 113 is specifically talking about demand for grants. We have this, and you can see Article 114 is talking about appropriation bill. This is like a check on, Consolidated Fund of India, that is 2661, right? So this is check. When all the demand for grants, almost in this particular budget we have 1 or 2 demand for grants. All demand for grants are gathered together and made as appropriation bill, and that appropriation bill is passed, and this is presented to the Consolidated Fund of India, and money can be withdrawn, right? That is how you understood. In appropriation bill, there will be 2 heads again, charged and voted. These 2 heads will be there in the appropriation bill. Then 117 is talking about financial bill. 117 is talking about 2 types of financial bill, financial bill 1, financial bill type 2. You need to understand, when you talk about finances, it is very big. When you talk about money, it is very narrow, right? Finance is very broad term, money is little narrow term. Money bill we have in Article 110. Annual financial statement we have in Article 112. Demand for grants we have in Article 13, right? Similarly, we have in 114 appropriation bill. 117 we have financial bill 1 and financial bill 2, right? These are the things we need to remember from this particular articles. These are articles, legislative procedure articles. These are the legislative procedure, how to pass the bills. Article 121 is important. Restriction on discussion in Parliament. No discussion shall take place in Parliament respect of conduct of any judge. So you cannot discuss about the conduct of judge of High Court or Supreme Court. So legislature cannot discuss about judges unless there is removal resolution. If there is removal resolution of judges, then we can discuss. If there is no removal resolution, then we cannot comment on the behavior and conduct of judges, right? This is called independency of judiciary. We are trying to protect the independence and autonomous nature of this particular judiciary. We are trying to prove that particular separation of power, right? We are trying to protect that particular judiciary from the encroachment of this particular legislature. Similarly, courts could not cannot inquire into the proceedings of the parliament. This is the second part. This is protecting legislature from judiciary. Right, whatever is happening in particular legislature, ultimately the Speaker of the House is the ultimate authority to take it forward. Right, it cannot be questioned. Any procedures cannot be questioned by the judiciary, and the members will also have freedom of speech. They can speak against any bill, for any bill. They can tell their opinions frankly and boldly. If they are against, for example, I'll tell you one particular law: reservation of women in Lok Sabha. If there are people who are against this particular bill, they have freedom of speech, and this cannot be questioned in any courts of law. This is protecting the power of legislature. See, balance of power, separation of power, checks and balances. So it will look like as if it is a snakes and ladder. This is called constitutional document. This is a constitutional document. This is called statecraft. This is the statecraft. This is the power map given to us by B.R. Ambedkar and the team. So Article 121, 122, we are talking about separation of powers and independence of judiciary and independence of legislature, right? Courts cannot encroach upon the work of the legislature. Similarly, legislature cannot inquire into the work of the judiciary. That is how we speak about Article 121 and 122. Then important article, court is ordinance power. Power of the president to promulgate ordinances. What is ordinances? This is the last topic I will take up today, so that we will end up the legislature part. Once we end up the legislature part, then tomorrow we will take up the judiciary and state government also. State government is going to be repetitive. Whatever I have missed, a few important points I will try to cover there. So it is going to be repetitive part again. Whatever I spoke about president, I will be talking about governor. Similarly, I spoke about PM, I will speak about council of ministers. Similarly, chief minister and council of ministers. Similarly, attorney general, advocate general, Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, and similarly here I speak about parliament, there I will talk about state legislative assembly. It is going to be fun. If you are learning this, if you understood what I spoke here, then you will understand what we are going to discuss tomorrow very easily. So the last article we are talking about is Article 123, that is ordinance making power. Right? There are laws. India is a common law country. All the organs will make laws. LEJ. The law made by the legislature is called statutory law. The law made by the executive is called ordinance. Right? There are other names also. The law made by the judiciary is called judgment, order, decree. Judgment, order, or decree. These are the different laws. All the organs will make the laws, unlike the other countries. India is a common law country. What is common law country? Legislature will make the law, executive will make the law, and judiciary will also make the law. So you need to remember these are the different types of laws. And I spoke that who is normally interested with the power of making laws, that is legislature. In center, what we have is parliament. In center, what we have is parliament. In parliament, especially we are talking about Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is sitting for 5 years. Rajya Sabha is for unlimited time, permanent house, but the members is having only tenure of 6 years. So we have 3 sittings in Lok Sabha, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 sessions we have. First session is budget session, second one is monsoon, the third one is winter session. These are the sessions we have. What if I have to make a law in the interim period? What if I have to make a law in the recess period of the legislature, when the legislature is not there, when all the members are there in the constituencies? If I have to make a law, how do I make it? That is where we have given the power to the president. President, as part of the executive, will make ordinance. He will make laws if they are necessary. For example, parliament is not there, COVID eruption came into picture, contagion came into picture, and they cannot come back in this COVID crisis. So ordinance has to be passed, laws had to be made, because who is running the country? Law. Who is ultimate in the country? Law. What we have in the country? Rule of law. Rule of law, Article 14, right? So if you see, when we don't have the house in session, then ordinance can be made, right? Normally in constitution, what is prescribed is we should have at least 2 sessions. We have at least 2 sessions, but in reality we are having 3 sessions. There is no problem. It is prescribed that in constitution, between 2 sessions, 6 months should not be elapsed. Between 2 sessions, 6 months should not be elapsed, which means that in 1 year we should conduct at least 2 sessions according to constitution, but we are conducting 3. There is no problem with that. But what if we have to make a law between the recess? When the house is, then the session is prorogued and the next session is not summoned, in between the interregnum, if we have to make a law, then we create an ordinance. This ordinance, even though we pass the ordinance, ex post facto approval is required from Parliament again. Ex post facto approval is required from the Parliament, right? The maximum time period of this particular ordinance is 6 months, 6 weeks. 6 months, 6 weeks. Within 6 months, if the particular session is started, after starting of the session within 6 weeks, there are options. If the House want to consider this particular ordinance and make law, within 6 months the session has to be conducted. After starting of the sessions within 6 weeks, we need to say yes to this ordinance or no to the ordinance, or you can ignore. If you are saying yes to the ordinance, it will become law. If you are saying no to the ordinance, it will be revoked. If you are ignoring, it will still get revoked, right? So these are the options we have. Ordinance is the law making power of the president during the emergency times we have in the article 1, 2, 3. So you remember article 111, right? Here we are trying to remember article 1, 2, 3. Power of the president to promulgate ordinance during the recess of the Parliament. This is one of the important article 1, 2, 3. That is the legislative power of the president. That is legislative power of the president. So ordinance is very important instrument. Initially in the constitutional history, the viceroy used to have power over this particular ordinance. The executive law making power. Normally executive should not be given power to make laws. The type of laws they make is delegated legislation, subordinate legislation. They cannot be given power to give primacy laws, right? I hope you understood. As of now we have covered legislature. Do you have any doubts as of now? We have covered Parliament, Parliament of India. We have completed important articles. Yes, President can reject money bail, Vinith. Vinith is asking, sir, upon dissolution of Lok Sabha, which bills will lapse and which doesn't? Okay. So the logic is simple. We have Lok Sabha, we have Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. Lok Sabha is a temp house, right? Temporary house, can be dissolved, right? So if a bill is introduced in Lok Sabha and it is in consideration in Lok Sabha and the Lok Sabha dissolved, the bill will lapse. The bill will lapse. If the bill is introduced in Lok Sabha and bill is passed by Lok Sabha and in consideration of Rajya Sabha, while in consideration of Rajya Sabha, if the bill is lapsed, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, then also bill will lapse. Try to see this. In Lok Sabha, the bill is originating, but it is in consideration of Lok Sabha, but the house got dissolved, the bill is getting lapsed. Right? The bill is in Lok Sabha, it is passed to Rajya Sabha, it is in consideration of Rajya Sabha, but the Lok Sabha dissolved, the bill will lapse. If the bill is introduced in Rajya Sabha, then it will not lapse. So we can find out that particular article. So you can see here in article 107, right? Money bills should only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Money bills should only be introduced in Lok Sabha, subject to the provisions of article 109, 117. With respect to money bills, other financial bills, bill may originate in any house of the Parliament, except money bills, right? Any bill can be originated in any house, right? Either house of the Parliament. So apart from that, a bill pending in Parliament shall not lapse by reason of prorogation of the houses. First thing, when session is prorogated, right, when the sessions are being prorogated, there will be no lapse of bills. The bill presented in a budget session will be there alive in monsoon session or winter session. There will be no effect on the bill. That is clear. The bill pending in Council of State which has not been passed by House of People shall not lapse on dissolution of House of People. Right? If the bill is in Rajya Sabha, Council of States which has not been passed, still in Rajya Sabha, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, there will be no effect on bill. Bill is still live. A bill which is pending in House of People or which having been passed by House of People is pending in Council of States shall subject to provisions of Article 108 lapse on dissolution of House of People. So if the bill is originated in Lok Sabha, which is in consideration of Lok Sabha, or passed by Lok Sabha and dissolved, the bill will get lapsed. Right? So one particular factor you need to remember: before dissolution of the Lok Sabha, if President is prescribing for a joint session, if President is summoning the joint session, then the bill will be decided in the joint session. Remember that point. Even before the dissolution, if the President is summoning the joint session, joint sitting, then that will be decided in the joint sitting. I hope you understood. Only the bills which are pending in House of People, having passed by the House of People, pending in Council of States, if the House of the People is dissolved, then it will be dissolved. So the bills which are originated in Lok Sabha will have impact. I hope I have given you proper explanation, Vinith. Any other doubts you people have? Got it. Thank you, Vinith. So whatever points, whatever fair points we have missed today in executive and legislature, like qualifications, disqualifications, oath, salaries, if we have missed anything, we will try to cover in state government. I don't see any difference, major difference between these two. I'll try to compare, contrast them. Whenever I'm talking about those, it will be easy for you. You also should do this way only. I hope you will do this and you will get it, right? All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night. We will try to meet in the next session again. I'll try to complete in the next session again. Thank you. Thank you, Burhanjan.